Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Kevin back for yet another video. And in today's episode, I want to take you through... Bro, what are you doing? What? I'm filming, man.
It's good. It's cool.
Are you serious right now?
What?
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Kevin back for yet another video. Today we're talking about egos. Now, if you're here for the very first time checking me out, I appreciate you stopping by. Definitely take a look around. On my channel, I do videos that are all about motivation, inspiration, and helping you achieve the best version of you. So if you like what you see, consider hitting that subscribe button and turning on the bell notification so you're aware of every time I put out a new video. Now let's go. Okay, so inside of every single one of us, we all have this thing called an ego. And a lot of times, you know, it's good. It can be a healthy ego, but in many, many ways, our ego can actually be very toxic and very negative. And I want to walk through that today. Now, there's a difference, which often gets confused because people will say, I don't have an ego, I'm just very confident. There is a difference between being confident and having an ego. And hopefully through this video and some of the points I'm gonna make, you'll see where that difference really comes into play. It's said that our ego is nothing more than this identity that we make up by ourselves in our own head, and it's somewhere in our subconscious. We create these versions of ourselves that we think is the ideal, optimum, epitome. Help me out trying to use some school words here. It's this identity that we make up about ourselves. And in many ways, it can rear its ugly head at inopportune times. Now I want to walk through 5 reasons why having an ego is probably not your best option. All right, so right out the gate, let's talk about the fact that your ego is going to make you be irrational. I'll give you an example. I was working a job many years ago. I was a supervisor at a place that I worked, and I had a guy that was working for me. And there was a certain set of procedures they needed to do to follow some tasks that needed to be done on this particular shift. And I observed that this individual did not complete the task the way that it was supposed to be completed. And so that needed me to sit down and have a conversation with them and come up with some corrective measures to make sure that that mistake didn't happen again. I was not going to roast this guy, but I needed to have the conversation. So I called him in the office and we're sitting down, we're talking. And I said, okay, so I'll call him Bob. I said, Bob, listen, you know, the task that you did was done incorrectly. And immediately the individual, Bob, starts saying to me, I did it the right way. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know why you're picking on me. And I said, okay, time out. Walk me through exactly how you conducted that procedure. And with a bit of attitude, he went through each and every single step that he did. And then I said, okay. And then I opened up the binder that laid out all the procedures that also, by the way, had his signature on it, indicating he read and understood how the procedure was to be done. So I gave him the binder and I said, okay, just read through this section of the binder and let's just validate based on what you've said compared to what the procedure says. So of course, as he's reading through this document, you can see he's thinking and stumbling through reading it because he realizes that he's wrong. At the end of it, after reading all of that, he was still arguing with me that what he did was correct, even though he read for himself that the procedure he followed was incorrect. Irrational decisions, irrational actions. The focus for him was to be so on point, to prove me wrong and to prove himself right, that even in the face of identifying that he made a mistake, he was not able to do so. And if you think being irrational is going to help you get ahead in life, you got another thing coming for you. Now, the second reason why having an ego that's not in check can be really detrimental for you is because it will stunt your growth. Now, I'm not talking physically, but mentally, emotionally, and give you the ability to move forward in life. The one thing that peeves me the most is when someone comes to me and says, hey, Kevin, you know what? I need some advice. I need your thoughts. I need your words of wisdom on this particular incident in my life or this thing that's really bothering me, and I want your perspective. And I listen and I sit back and I contemplate, and then I pour my heart out and I give them my advice and my thoughts about what they could do in that situation or how they could handle it. And it seems like almost immediately, as I'm giving them each piece of advice, they're slowly knocking down everything I'm saying, suggesting that it's not going to be good enough for their particular situation. Then why the heck did you even ask me for my opinion? When you are unable to listen to the advice of other people who may have gone through that same exact situation, that same exact experience you're going through, when you ask people for advice, when you have the opportunity to learn from others that might know more than you about a particular subject, if you're so focused on thinking that you know more than everybody else, it's going to hinder you greatly from being able to absorb and learn and keep moving forward in your life. And number three is that it's going to add stress to your life. I've heard this saying many, many times in life, and I don't know if I'm dating myself by using this term, but keeping up with the Joneses. Am I too old to say that? Do I not fit in with the young people these days by saying keeping up with the Joneses? Who am I keeping up with these days? Keeping up with the Joneses. Anyways, that's who I know. That's what I'm going to tell you. So keeping up with the Joneses is a cliche for having to keep up with what everyone else is doing. When your neighbor gets that brand new car, you feel like you need to go out and get a new car. When that person puts out their next selfie on Instagram, you feel like you got to go put out a next picture on Instagram. There are so many things that we do to try to keep up with everybody else. And all it really does is add stress to our life. That is fueled by our ego that just almost wants to feel like we're validating ourselves against other people and their successes. And that is just going to add a lot of stress to your life that you really just don't need. Number four, it's going to cause you to push people away from you. Nobody wants to be around someone who knows everything all the time, someone whose ego is bigger than themselves. This is probably why most people don't like narcissists. Now, that's a whole other conversation, talking about narcissists, but their egos are on like level 10,006. That's a whole other ball of wax. But what I'm saying to you is that when you are in this state of always having to be right, always feeling to be, or having the need to feel like you need to be the biggest person in the room, have the loudest voice in the room, have the best stories. It's almost like what do they call them? The one-uppers? The person who just always seems to have a better story. Those people annoy me. No one's going to want to be around you. And number five, it's going to cause you to live a life of misery. I don't know why, but there's this thing about the ego that causes you to always live in a state of drama. Take things personally that have nothing to do with you. This is when, you almost feel offended for things that have nothing to do with you. When your friend gets a new job, you're upset. Or when your friend gets a new man or a new woman, you're upset. And you say things like, well, that job's not going to last anyways. Or who does she think she is? She can't keep a good man. Or he's going to cheat on her again anyways. It causes us to feel victimized because when someone doesn't do something our way, we take it personally and say, oh, see, they don't care about me. That is all ego driven. We say these things out of our own ego. That's a self-reflection of our ego, not them. And with that being said, guys, you got to remember, be confident in yourself. Be confident in your abilities. That is a good trait to have. But having an ego that goes unchecked is going to keep you from moving ahead in life. Peace and love.